Give us free. Give us free.
Your Honor, please instruct the defendant that he cannot disrupt these proceedings with such outbursts.
Give us free. Give us free.
If we are to have any semblance of order in this
Give us free.
Peace, unity, and welcome my conscious and unconscious family and friends. This is the all-new BlackVillage Community Podcast, and I am truly your host of the show, JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut. Without any fear, as I use my mic as a spear to chuck you with liberated truth. I am your host and your native soldier in the struggle. My purpose and mission for this show is first to enlighten, inform, and engage. And I want to engage with all who claim to know the truth. All truth seekers and my native family, I welcome you. This show is dedicated to all our indigenous native ancestors and to all those who've carried the mantle of truth, and to every person with the ability to throw off the chains of comfortable habit and unwarranted assumption and move in a new, liberated direction that is guided by truth and observational evidence, no matter where that direction may lead you. My main objective and purpose here is freedom, mind, soul, and spirit. That being said, welcome to the BlackVillage Community Podcast, and much love from our great universal goddess and mother of all living here and above.
AC in the house.
It's really time for this though.
Black power, black power, white power, white power, black power, black power, white power, white power, black power, white power, white power. I've been whipping in this for some hours. I got money, I bought freedom. I earned my shit right in the trap, serving them geekers. I bought a lawyer, he beat them cases. You should've seen them dirty crackers, racist faces. And I walked out of court like pop. So my last brick and bought a stove front on the block. Now I'm OG, niggas know me, but I don't tolerate that conversation about the old me. Ain't no working, getting sold round here. If you're hot, partner, don't call my phone or come here. Out of here with that fuck shit, get from round here. Niggas like you and the feds usually come within a year. I don't like you, see, I bought a few stores from my right. Now that old money getting laundered up, watch it cycle. Bought my uncle's company, now I tow cars. He made his first $500,000 with Fred tow cars. Black power, black.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure.
Hey, this is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, and I am here with ya for another delicious indigenous Sunday. I am here with you, and this is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, and I am here with you, and you are here with me if you tuned in, if you chimed in, or if you just, however you're listening to me on iTunes, YouTube, or however you're connecting with a brother, you are tuned in to the BlackVillage Community Podcast, and I am your host. I am your moderator and MC, JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, here to drop nothing but the raw and uncut. And here today's podcast topic, which is a continuation of not last week, but the week before last, because last week I was not on the air due to some, my son came out to visit me, from, my oldest son. And so I hadn't seen him in about a year due to the fact that he lives not in the same vicinity of, that I live in, he's his own man. And so I enjoyed, my time with my son, and I didn't get a chance to catch up on some research and some studying and some things I wanted to do and share with the conscious community. So this is JCA Carver Black, and I'm here today, and I'm going to talk about today, which is titled, the podcast topic of this show is titled America's Aboriginal Secret Part 4, Hip House Negroes versus Niggas. Do you feel me? Again, America's Aboriginal Secret Part 4, Hip Hop House Negroes. Yeah, and you heard me. I said versus niggas. And I'm gonna go into that and I'll talk about what I mean by that. So let me change my theme music. Give us something more laid back to the vibrate too. Let me. There you go. Something like that. There you go. Some Tupac in the backdrop. You feel me? And so today I'm going to continue on with talking about, I personally believe, is a very important subject matter of America's Aboriginal Secret. And I call it America's Aboriginal Secret because due to the fact that you got a lot of people who are not aware of their cultural connection to the indigenous Aborigines of America, due to the lack of, and that's due to a lack of communication within families who grandparents, great-grandparents, aunties, great-aunties, uncles, and great-uncles who did not pass down that information to the next generation. And as a result, today you have a generation of indigenous brothers and sisters who are totally unaware of their connection to the indigenous people of America. And so that's the reason why I call the podcast topic America's Aboriginal Secret. Now, just because there are a host of so-called a.k.a. black people, indigenous brothers and sisters who do not know that they are indigenous to America because their grandmother didn't pass that information on to her daughter and so forth to her granddaughter or a grandfather. But see, people need to comprehend why a lot of the elders did not talk about their ethnicity, did not talk about who they were. And one of the main reasons why it wasn't talked about, because it was a customary thing not to talk about it due to the fact of the oppression of the early 1900s, the early 1800s, the oppression, them forcing our people to assimilate, white people forcing our great-grandparents and our grandparents, our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, forcing them to assimilate. Assimilate to what? Assimilate to what they were labeling our people back then as Negroes, as colored, as black. So if you put on a job application back in the early 1900s, doesn't matter if it was the 1930s, 1940s, doesn't matter if it was the 1920s, doesn't matter if it was the 1950s. If you stuck on a job application that you were Chickasaw or Ojibwa or Crow or Creek Indian, and that white man looked at you and he sees you as what his people told him to label you as, a colored, a Negro, then you didn't get the job. You didn't get the job to provide for your family. Can you imagine? It's hard. You got indigenous brothers and sisters who are struggling today. Huh? That's what hustling is all about. That's what grinding is all about. Young brothers and sisters having to hustle and grind because they can't make the ends meet. Do you feel me? That's why the streets still got hustlers. That's why there's still an underground way of doing things, because brothers and sisters cannot make ends meet. You feel me? They've already made it. I mean, we're already in the process today in the year 2018, which they've been going through the process since the year 2000 and before, of assimilating people that you cannot get a job. You will not get a job if you don't have paperwork proving that you are a graduate from high school, that you are a college graduate, that you have some training and some certification. You feel me? Basically, they want an educated workforce today, and that's comprehensible. That's understandable. But look what they were doing back in the 1950s and the 1960s. You didn't have to have all that. You didn't have to have all that paperwork. It was, can you do the job? Can you be trained? That's how it was in the 1950s and the 1940s. During the industrialized period of America's process of becoming an industrialized country, a corporate country. Back in the 1940s and the 1930s and the 1950s and the 1960s, it was about, can you do the job? Can you learn? Can you be trained? Can you be instructed? Today, it's not just about can you do the job. It's not just about can you be trained. Now it's more first. It's first, can you and do you have certification? Do you have a GED? Do you have a BA? Do you have an AA? Do you have a master's degree? And so my point being is this. Back then, because it was not about that, it was about can you be trained? Black people weren't even allowed to even go through the process of even training. They had to first jump through the hoop of an application just like everybody else do today. But back then, they looked at a brother and a sister, and they looked at their application. If your application didn't line up with you was, what I mean by you, that means your identity. You put on there that you are Cherokee Indian. Now look, today they play the game. Today they still playing the game. They're not looking at your complexion today. You put on an application that you're Cherokee or you're Ojibwa, they don't care as long as you can meet the criteria of the job as far as your resume and as far as your certification or education. But you know what? If they want to enroll you in any benefits, if they want to get a company discount or a corporate discount from the government, they want to know, can you prove that you are Indian or Native American by certification of showing that you're connected to a tribal reservation? These devils are still playing games, people. They still look what they do. They emancipate our people in 1865 with no education, no tools of advancement, Look what these white devils have done to our people. Made sure our people on the plantation were illiterate, so when they were freed from slavery, they had mental dysfunction, social dysfunction, and educational dysfunction. Then told them they had to be naturalized citizens of the United States, even though they were already citizens of this country, being born here and being indigenous here. These white devils have been playing games since the emancipation of so-called a.k.a. black people who are really indigenous Aborigines people. So today, what I'm talking about is in reference to this and what this have to do with hip-hop. Look what hip-hop influences our children. Hip-hop influences our children. Our young people embrace hip-hop, and they've elevated hip-hop to a position of now what they call a culture. And in all reality, hip-hop is not a culture. Hip-hop is an art. But this explains the disconnect in hip-hop today due to the fact that hip-hop evolved and had its birth in the ghettos, in the so-called a.k.a. black community. You would think that not only would hip-hop be the voice of young people, but it would reflect the so-called black community. Hip-hop today do not reflect the so-called black community. Not in every aspect. Not even in the majority of the aspect, because a lot of these Negroes who are on the microphone calling themselves hip-hop artists are posers. What is a poser? I'm going to give you the definition of a poser right now. The definition of the word of a poser, is a person who pretends to be someone they are not, or a person who attempts to impress others. An exhibitionist, a poser, a posturer, a fake. A lot of these Negroes, you feel me? But not all of them. You got a lot of brothers in the hip-hop industry who came from the streets. But yet, because they've been working real hard and grinding in the music industry, because they've made it to celebrity status, and because now they're considered a hip-hop superstar, they've forgotten where they've come from. Or, if they haven't forgotten where they've come from, that green cotton got their eyes blind to their past and to where they came from. So the question is, does hip hop help the black community, so-called, a.k.a. black community today? Has hip hop helped the so-called black community? And in what way have hip hop helped the black community? Because when I look at hip hop, I don't really see it I don't see hip hop doing a real positive impact on the so-called black community whatsoever. I hear a lot of voices saying a lot of different things. But the number one thing that hip hop is missing, which is the number one thing that the so-called black community is missing, and which is the white man wants to make sure that what I'm going to mention right now never becomes the main agenda of the so-called black community. The one thing that the so-called black community is missing, the one thing, the one very important ingredient that hip-hop music is missing, which is the very thing that is blinding the so-called black community today. You know what that is? The absence of culture. The absence of culture. And as long as the white devil can manipulate so-called black Americans on that level, they will have us in a midst of chaos and confusion, people. And this is the reason why I cannot and will not endorse Pan-Africanism. Don't get it twisted. There is a lot of good in Pan-Africanism. The things that I will say that is good about Pan-Africanism is specifically for those who are African, and specifically for those who are a mixed biracial African and indigenous, or, you know, those who are really so-called African American, is that not only does it give you a sense of pride in your country and a sense of dignity, and it gives you an anthem, and it gives you an agenda to hold on to, but it's a rally. It's a rallying cry. Pan-Africanism is a rallying cry, and it brings everybody together. But the reason why I oppose, the one main reason why I oppose Pan-Africanism is because it denies the indigenous people their culture. So the reason, in me saying this, I have audio, and I have some audio I want to play. I got some information I want to play, but I want to start this podcast off with the audio cast by David Banner. Now, I know that David Banner is a Pan-Africanist. I love the brother's music. I love his aggressive stance. I love his intelligence. I love the way he talk. I love his raw and uncut, the way he brings things out, just raw and uncut. But where David Banner, everything that what I'm going to play right now, everything he's saying is true. A lot of things that a lot of Pan-Africanists say are true. Where they fall short, though, is when they talk about everybody being African. When they break down the walls of culture, when they call themselves destroying the walls of culture that they claim separate us. Culture don't separate us. Culture gives you a designation. Culture gives you an identity. It gives you a location, a designation, and an identity. This is the reason you can't just sum everybody up in Africa as the same. You can't just say everybody in Africa are the same people, because what separates the African people are their different African cultures within the continent itself. You can't call a Congoan a Tanzanian. You can't call a Tanzanian a Rwandan. You can't call a Rwandan a Sudanese. But why? Because their culture is what identify them and designate them to the location within the continent of Africa from which they come from. Their culture. Your people. That's what separate the tribal people, and that's what separate the countries within Africa. Then why are we still doing the same thing here in America? We're just blanketing everybody under one identity. People. We can't do that. We cannot allow Pan-Africanism to destroy the walls of culture that connects us to America, that connects us to our land, and that connects us to our people and connects us to our tribe. So that being said, let me say, I got nothing but love for Pan-Africanism for the Africans. I got nothing but love for the truth that Pan-Africanism does speak. But my opposition to Pan-Africanism is when it infringes on my cultural identity, when it infringes on my indigenous identity. That's where I draw the line to Pan-Africanism, and I call Pan-Africanism a lie when it comes to that. So that being said, I'm going to play Brother David Banner in reference to my podcast topic today, which is America's Aboriginal Secret, hip-hop house Negroes versus, conscious real niggas. You feel me? Now, I say that because I got a list right now. I want to name this list. I got a list. And this list that I got is called House Negro Hip Hop Artists versus conscious niggas. Okay? All right. Now, on this list, when it comes to talking about the hip hop industry, there's too many in the hip hop industry to talk about, especially when it comes to talking about specifying who's a house nigga and who's not. So I've narrowed this down basically to 5 people. Okay, to 5 people, 5 hip hop house sellout niggas versus 5 hip hop conscious niggas who I got some respect for. So I'm just going to deal with the first 2 today. The first 2 niggas, well, specifically one nigga. I'm not going to talk. I want to talk about one hip hop house nigga sellout, and that's Lil Wayne. Okay, Lil Wayne, yes, that nigga done sold out for green cotton. He knows better. That nigga is from Louisiana. That nigga not only is born and raised in New Orleans. We all know because that nigga loved to talk about his hometown, New Orleans. So anybody who knows anything about Lil Wayne know he's from the 17th Ward of Holly Grove in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, not only was he born in Louisiana, but this nigga got roots in Louisiana. His mama and his grandmama are from that territory. You feel me? So anybody can go find this information out. If you want to find out and get a little bit more information on Lil Wayne, you can go to Lil Wayne's fan club. So it's called LilWayneHQ.com. LilWayneHQ.com. That's his fan club. And you can get this information on his family about who his mama is. Lil Wayne's mom, Jacita Carter, you feel me? And Lil Wayne's grandmother, it's all that information of Regina Carter. It's all sitting right here. All right. So anybody can go read that. And I give it up to Lil Wayne on this level. He's done a lot of charitable work in his hometown of New Orleans. He's given a lot of money. He spent a lot of money. He had after the Katrina thing happened in New Orleans, he had his childhood park that was destroyed for the community. He had that redone, reconstructed. He had a community center built in his hometown of New Orleans. He spent a lot of money. He gives a lot of his time. He loves his hometown. He loves New Orleans. You feel me? So I don't understand why he would make a public house nigga statement. And everybody know what that house nigga statement is. Everybody know Lil Wayne. When he had that interview, he was acting like he had a disconnect. Like he's so high up as a celebrity. He makes so much money. He's a rich nigga. Now, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about racism. And that's all bullshit. That's house nigga stuff. That's house niggas. That was house niggerish. You feel me? So I want before I'll play that. I want to set the floor mat for this podcast by talking about David Banner, because see, David Banner, even though he's a Pan-Africanist, and that's where we draw, I love the brother, number raw and uncut truth come out his mouth, but like I said, I draw the line with that out of Africa philosophy that comes along with Pan-Africanism. That's where we draw the line. That's why I can't. That's where if me and David Banner was talking, we couldn't talk about the out of Africa theory because he's locked on that thing. He's locked. That's that main core of Pan-African philosophy that he's stuck on. But everything else about him, everything that he's talking about, other than that, is raw and uncut truth. And so he speaks to what I want to talk about today. And I want to get the subject matter started with David Banner because he's talking about the music industry. In this little audio cast that I'm going to play right now, David Banner is talking about the music industry and what the music industry wants to make big, the people they really want to pay, the people they want to make big in the industry. So he talks about 2 types of Negroes in the music industry. And so I'm going to play this right now, and we shall return right after this.
Well, I mean, speaking of art, you had said at one point that you would switch your style because you got tired of being America's N-word.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, one of the things that I think that happens that I don't even think that we as black people notice is that there's two types of black people that America loves to pay. And that's the out of control, stereotypical, fear-based black man. Then it's your total sellout, no beard, no culture. He don't stand for nothing. Just Mr. Get Along guy. You feel me? And even though I've been conscious since I was in 11th grade, there's a very, and I promise you, man, when Dave Chappelle was going through what he was going through, bro, I wanted to just go find him and tell him, bro, I feel the same way. There's a very thin line between culture and stereotypes. And between culture and stereotypes. I don't know if you remember this, doing my album Certified, I had started dressing up in suits.
Right.
And all my homeboys say, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, that's crazy. And I was like, bro, although we do wear gold teeth, although, we do wear white tees, that's not the only thing in our culture. Think about our music. 80% of our music is about violence and selling dope, but 80% of our community don't sell dope, and 80% of our community is not violent. So then why is 80% of our music that? It's because that's what America pays for. That's what these record labels pay for. And black folks always get the residual effects of the shit that America has historically done, but we never put it on them white folks and them accountants and them lawyers that's sitting behind those desks. And I know one of them in particular who said he ain't signing nothing but violent music.
There you go. You heard it from the mouth of Brother David Banner, dropping the raw and uncut. You heard me? That was David Banner dropping the raw and uncut. Now that was not Pan-African ideology. That was raw and uncut truth. That had nothing to do with Pan-African philosophy. That was straight raw and uncut truth. What he just told. He was talking about how the music industry puts money and pays two type of Negroes. The one is just out of control. The one who look like he's in control but has no culture and don't care about culture. And that's my point. My point is that we live in a country that's doing a wonderful job at getting Negroes not to give a damn about the number one thing that can bring us together, unify us, and establish us as a people: culture. All the people that this white devil respects, the ones that he got some respect for and the ones that he totally respect, are people with culture. The white man respect the Chinese. You got people saying, oh, you respect the Chinese because the Chinese got power. White man don't give a damn about it. The white man believes he's the most powerful person on this universe. The white man believes that. White man, his ego is so huge, he don't give a damn about how many Chinese people in China. He respects the Chinese because they won't and refuse to let go of their culture. They won't and refuse and will not, and they honor their culture. No matter how much business they do, no matter how much they destroy their environment, they hold on to their Chinese culture. Same way with the Japanese, same way with the Italians, same with the created Jews. They hold on to a created culture, people. Same way what makes the Mexican, even though the Mexican, which is the brown brother of ours, because they also are connected to indigenous people, you feel me? But what makes the Mexican people beautiful is that they hold on to their culture. Even if a part of their culture is a created culture, even if a part of their culture is a created version of Spanish culture that was implemented into indigenous cultures and other things, they still hold on to it though. And it keeps them together and it bands them together and give their children a sense of what?
culture, heritage, family, values, principles. You feel me? And that's what David Banner's talking about. The music industry is full of house Negroes who are cultureless. So if you don't care about culture, where's your principles? Where are your standards? Where are your values? Huh? And that's the point that David Banner is trying to make. That's the type of Negroes that Hollywood pay. Because you know what? Negroes who don't have a culture will sell out their identity. Negroes who don't give a damn about a culture will sell anything for a green dollar, for green cotton. You feel me? And I'm finna prove that right now. I'm finna establish the point by using Lil Wayne as an example. This Negro got no excuse because he's from the gutters of New Orleans. He's from the streets of New Orleans. And New Orleans have a rich culture that's embedded in indigenous heritage. You feel me? So let me continue this by sharing this next audio cast with Lil Wayne, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard. So, and we will continue right after this.
Nowadays, Wayne has been making more headlines than music. Due to an ongoing legal battle, his completed Carter 5 album remains on the shelf, which is why he says he chose now to release a memoir. Gone Till November is a diary that chronicles the 8 months he spent at Rikers Island for an illegal weapon possession. When you look back at prison, has it been life-changing?
I learned a lot about people. You're all on the same level. You're all going through the same thing. Everybody wants to go home.
But outside of a jail cell, his celebrity status has clearly shaped his perspective, recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or
No,
you
not
still
at
feel the
all.
same way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on it. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for a up reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matters, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy. You connected to this flag right. Because I'm connected. I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily. Lil Wayne is in the business of making music, not apologies. For Night, I'm Lindsay Davis.
There you go, right there. You heard it. You heard that Negro make that dumb, retarded statement. Now, somebody said, that was a long time ago. Why are you talking about something that's old? I'm using it as a reflection to show you that, look, Lil Wayne is at the top of the pinnacle of the hip-hop celebrity. You know, come on, man. This Negro, he's a millionaire. He's rich. I can pull it up right now. I can tell you. I can show you what they got. They got him on. They got him on the list of one of the highest paid rap artists in the industry, along with Jay-Z, J. Cole, and the rest of them. You feel me? So I know it's this happened. You know, I believe back in 2016 when this happened. All right. My point of bringing it up is to use it as an example. That this brother is an example of the hip-hop industry. He's an example of people like Young Thug, another house Negro. Okay? Another hip-hop house Negro. Young Thug. Kanye West. Another hip-hop house Negro. Now, why do I call these niggas hip-hop house Negroes? Whenever you are willing to sell out for money, to the degree that you can care less about anything else, and especially your people. Especially your people. Lil Wayne said, I don't feel no connection to anything that's not connected to me. I'm connected to this rag. That's what he said. He pulled out his red rag out of his pocket. Nigga, you don't know nothing about that, nigga. You don't know nothing about that, nigga. You from New Orleans, nigga. You not from the Lay? That nigga not from LA. He not from LA, where it all started at. He don't know nothing about that. Not really. The only thing he know is what he's been groomed to know. That's all he knows, what he's been groomed to know. But I want you to know, in the process of this nigga talking like this, when he did, he stirred up some things. He stirred up some things. And he stirred up some things with some people that was pretty close to him who knew him. Okay, people, celebrities like T.I. who called him out. T.I. called that nigga out. I got it right here. What T.I. was saying about that nigga. Let me scroll this down here to T.I.'s part. Okay, this is T.I. right here. T.I. said in his response, he said, this is my son and daughter showing me this for the first time, asking me, what you mean? I'm at a complete loss of words here. Wayne, I've known you over a decade. Our daughters grew up together practically. Regina spent countless times at my house with Neek, daughters with Neek. When you were in prison, you extended my daughter the same courtesy when I was in the same position. Our relationship outside of music is what make this sensitive. Our relationship outside of music is what makes me sensitive to your disposition. I know you weird a bit. I know you weird, a bit different than most other responsible adults, but still, nigga, you're tripping. I don't know what you're going through or what you are attempting to avoid, but this shit is absolutely unacceptable. You're disrespecting yourself, bringing shame to your family name, and trashing your legacy. You have children, including mine, prior to now, that have looked up to you. You have a son and a daughter that depends on your leadership. Bro, if you don't stand for something out here, all the money, the jewelry, cars, mansions, bandanas, and hit records don't mean shit. Our people are being oppressed. We are being hunted, captured, and slaughtered out here daily. You have to get out of that bubble that you've been living in and get out here and educate yourself or what's going on around us. Or what's going around us? Excuse me, I'm messing up right now because I'm reading this thing. I'm always here to share whatever knowledge or understanding I may have to assist your growth and development. But stop this buffoonery and cooning you're out here doing. You look like somebody who has something to gain or lose by pretending like it's not as bad as Black Lives Matter is making it seem. And you are not aware of an issue that needs to be addressed. That's what would be considered Uncle Tom shit. I know you better. I know you better than this. I've been proud to call you I've been proud to call myself a fan and a friend of Lil Wayne. But if that must end in order to stand up for those who can't do it for themselves, so be it. If you're not prepared for a question and an interview, say no. Comment, bro. Say no. Comment, bro. But stop embarrassing yourself and everyone out here who's been supporting you. There's no middle ground. Oppression knows no neutral party either. You're part of the oppressed, or you with the oppressor. There's no such thing as an oppression not affecting you. Wow. That was written. That was put on Instagram by T.I. in his rebuttal to a Lil Wayne, and I just had to read that. I mean, I got much love and respect for T.I. Much love and respect for the brother. And when you go look at his resume, he's doing a lot too for his hometown as well. You know, he's from the ATL. He's from Atlanta, and he's done a lot and he's doing a lot. You feel me? I like to call him Super T.I. Brother has saved 2 people from suicide and saved another person who was in a car accident. I call him Super T.I. The brother, he's always on the spot and ready to, and he stands up for what's right. You know, so that was T.I.'s response to Lil Wayne. But it shows the separation now going on in the hip hop industry. You feel me? And it shows also how many house Negroes you got in the hip-hop industry. Because I want you to know, that nigga never responded to T.I. publicly. Now, I don't know if he responded privately. I don't know. I doubt it, because if he had, definitely T.I. has not said that Lil Wayne has reached out to him in any way. But I'm not saying that he hasn't. I don't know. I don't know neither one of them personally. But also, since I played that audio cast of David Banner got a long resume as well of not just charitable work, be the fact that he's also an educated brother, but also the fact that he has a history of activism. The brother takes a stand, just like T.I. He takes a stand. And I got love for brothers for taking a stand. Due to the fact that even though David Banner is a Pan-Africanist, now T.I. is not a Pan-Africanist. T.I. does not spread Pan-Africanism. So, like I said, what's missing? And you heard David Banner even mention it. The main ingredient that's missing from all these movements, even the movement of the Black Panther Party movement, which I love, embrace, and love to talk about and love to reminisce about. But what was missing even from the Black Panther movement is the very main ingredient to bring us together as a people: culture. And you know what? Our culture here in America is not Pan-Africanism. Our culture here in America is not African culture. African culture is for the Africans in Africa. And of course, for those who've immigrated over here from Africa, of course, they can share a little bit of their stuff over here as well. But it's not for those who are so-called, who throughout the generations, whose families in this country go all the way to the slavery of this country and before slavery in this country. We are not Africans. And the white devil needs to stop being persistent with his constant manipulation and lie that he keeps perpetuating. The white man is doing exactly what Hitler was doing during his times, during his rule in Hitler. And Hitler wrote about it in his book called Mein Kampf. He calls it the big lie. If you keep repeating it, you keep repeating it, you keep repeating it, and you keep repeating it, and you keep repeating it. Eventually, everybody else will start to follow and start to repeat it. And that's what this white devil is doing. By repeating the ideology, repeating the reclassification, repeating the false identity of African American. I had a white devil just this past week do it to me on Google. Gonna tell me, you know, you a mixed African American. This white devil didn't even know who I was. And why I say he's a white devil? Because you might say, you don't know who you was talking to on the internet. His name was, I ain't gonna say the man's name, okay? But he had a white name, okay? It looked like a white name to me. Most likely it was a white man behind that name. And he gonna tell me who I am. He knows nothing about me. He knows nothing about my family tree. He knows nothing about my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents and my great-great-grandparents. What it is an agenda, people. That agenda is getting our people, our children, and our next generation to accept and embrace a false identity. A false identity. An illegal. I call it illegal because it's not legal. If it's not legal, it should be illegal. But the white man, the way he does his laws, just because something is not legal, don't make it illegal. It has to literally be considered illegal under law to be illegal. That's the manipulation of the white devil, though. That's how he manipulates his laws. That's how he get around his laws. We have to recognize the characteristics of this enemy who still persist. Does that mean every white person is the devil? Every white person is the enemy? Anybody who is in opposition of Aboriginal indigenous culture is the enemy. I'm going to say this again, people. Anyone. I don't care what your ethnic race is. I don't care what culture you come from. And specifically the white devil, anyone of European ethnicity. If you are in opposition if you are in opposition against indigenous American Aboriginal identity, you are the enemy. You are the devil. We're on Uncut just like that here on the Black Village. Also, let me straighten out something as well in the process of talking about this topic. Okay, black. Okay, I had a discussion over this week about with some brothers and sisters about the term black again. Okay, and I used the term black in my title of my podcast and in the title of my forum on Google and Facebook, The Black Village. But again, let me explain this, okay? The term black is an English term, just like the language I'm speaking right now is an English language. I am not speaking any indigenous language. I'm speaking a bastardized language, which is the English language. I cannot talk to you in any other language than the language that I'm speaking right now. This is one of the reasons and one of the ways the white devil was able to destroy the culture of our heritage in our minds by getting rid of our language. It's sitting right there in the Willie Lynch letters about taking away their mother language. He wasn't talking to the African. The African still has his language in Africa. You can go to Africa and learn your language, learn if that's your language, or you can pull up any language program and find an African language or the main African language and learn that. But a lot of indigenous languages have been extinct, so to speak. You feel me? So my point is that the term black is when you use it as an ethnicity to describe an individual, that's uneducated. That's improper. That's ignorant. When you use the term to describe an individual as ethnically, it's improper. But to use the term black properly, you have to use it metaphorically. Even if you're describing something that's literally black, even for something that's literal black. Something that's literally black, you still have to use it, you have to describe it, or you don't get the description. Doesn't matter what color it is. If I just say red means nothing until I tell you what I'm calling red. What am I describing that's red? Same thing with black. So when I use the term black, I use the term black metaphorically, and I also use it to pull in my people, because my people have been brainwashed. Excuse me. My people have been brainwashed with this improper way of using the term and this improper way of seeing and thinking about the term black. So I use it to pull my people in. So once I get you in, then I can break you off with some knowledge and let you realize that you're not black. I'm not black. There is no black people in America. There is no black people literally in America. We are people that are determined by our ethnicity, and your ethnicity connects you to your culture and your heritage and your people. We have to realize this and embrace this and realize this. I mean, I use this as an example too. You know, I saw a picture, and I got it. In matter of fact, I have it in my forum, the BlackVillage on Google, of a picture of an indigenous Cree Indian. I think he's Cree. No, yeah, he's Cree Indian, brother. A photo that was taken back in 1928 of a Cree Indian chief. His name was Red Dog, but the brother was darker than me. My complexion. I'm a kind of a dark caramel brown, copper color brown. This brother was very dark brown. He was a very dark brown color. But his name was Red Dog. He was not red whatsoever. It's almost like when you talk to a lot of my indigenous brothers today, they would rather for you not to use the word term black whatsoever, not even metaphorically. And I disagree with that. There is an educated way of using the term black. There's an educated way of using the term black. I don't use the term black to describe my people ethnicity. I don't use the term black to describe my people ethnicity. I use the term metaphorically. We are many different colors under the sun. We are many different shades of brown, light brown, yellow, brown, copper brown, reddish brown, cinnamon brown, dark brown. And so that's why I use the term black from the perspective of being dark, that we have many different shades and even dark shades of brown of our people. Metaphorically, not literally, not to be taken literal. And that's what we need to comprehend. We got to have an educated stance on language, educated stance on culture, educated stance on history, but it has to be founded on integrity and truth. That's the only thing I'm saying, people. So that being said, I want to play this part 2 by David Banner describing the house niggas in the music industry, people. And so I will get back with you right after this.
So for me, you know, I had fallen into that myself. And if you notice, Vlad, I'm not talking about no other rapper. I am talking about me. I'm talking about the effect that I had. I am talking about, waking up one day and looking at myself in the mirror. And although, yeah, I did a lot of stuff in the streets. Yeah, I got an anger problem. Yeah, I had guns. But I'm also a semester and a thesis away from my master's degree. I also threw one of the largest urban relief concerts in history for Katrina. All of the stuff that we do in the community. I'm one of the youngest men who were ever inducted into the Mississippi Hall of Fame for music, next to B.B. King. I had a 3.9987 in accelerated master's program. Nobody ever talked about that, but I felt myself falling into those stereotypes myself. But I felt myself falling into those stereotypes myself, and although I'm from that culture, although I've done more than the average person that raps about it, I started looking at it like, damn, bro, I'm going overseas and there's not a balance of information that's being broadcast out about young black men and women. At the time when Get Like Me was out, that's when reality shows had just started, and then our rap videos. So, when we're being attacked and policemen are killing us and all that kind of stuff, America is trying to justify that through our what? Our art. Saying that the things that we're doing are justified, bro. And I just said, I'm tired of being that, man. Like, I don't have to be that, bro. And, I didn't get it when Andre made his change, when Andre 3000 made his change, bro. I didn't get it. I said one thing that I did want to be, though. I think the person who did it with that to me was just so fucking genuine was Ice Cube. When Ice Cube made his switch and decided to go more conscious, he didn't change the way he dressed. He didn't stop cursing. The information that came out of his mouth, because he was feeding different types of information in, it came out, and that's what I wanted to be. It ain't too much different about me. I still want the same things. I still do the same things. Those things just don't control me. And Vlad, I'm going to be honest with you, man. The things that I would have killed somebody over 10 years ago, they don't even matter anything to me now, bro. And the sad thing is, for the most part, a lot of people have bought into white supremacy, both black and white, because it pays, and then they use religion against you. You think because you're making money or it's easier on you that God has blessed you. That's a lie. If I've taken all the resources on this earth and you start acting the way that I want you to act, and I give you a little bit of your resources back, and you think there's a connection between your prayers and you getting a couple of those resources back, that's some bullshit. I think that religion, they talk about in America, especially in our major cities, how, everything is being co-opted and regentrified. But the same thing happened in religion, the same thing happened in music, the same thing happened, in the way that we look.
There you go. You heard it right there, Brother David Banner, talking about what they want from. They don't basically look. We need to. What's going to bring us together is culture. When it comes, even with David Banner was talking about resources. Black folks believing that when they get a little something, like when a celebrity makes it in the music industry, they want to give God the credit and say, and when he just said it right there in a nutshell. When you got a group of people controlling all the resources, then they can trickle it down to you however they want. That don't mean nothing. It's not about money. Money is not going to unify us. We got a whole bunch of millionaire niggas in this country. Whole bunch of millionaire niggas in this country. Is it unifying us? No. The last time we came together as a unified people and tried to do something economically stable for ourselves had our own town, our own stores, our own hospitals, our own schools. Y'all know about it. You heard it, Wall Street. And it was not the first Wall Street either. And what did they do? They burnt it down. They bombed it. They destroyed it. They attacked our people, killed our people, burnt the stores, burnt the hospital. They don't want us having anything on a unified level. They want us to be under their spells. Yes, spells, people. You heard it right, spells. When they keep saying something over and over again, they're trying to put a spell on your mind. Yes, their words. Spell it out. Spell it out. Spell it out. African American. Calling you an African American. That's a spell, people. These white devils use. And when they got these hip hop artists out here promoting these spells, like Lil Wayne was doing, talking about, what Black Lives Matter, what talking about, he don't know what he was talking about. Black Lives Matter, talking about it take away from what? This dude, he's a gang banger. He don't know nothing about what he's talking about. Just like T.I. said, you need to go I hope he got together with T.I. and allow T.I. put him up on it. But I'm going to tell you something. I personally believe that Lil Wayne was just playing house nigga. He's playing coon. He's playing. He knows better than that. How you going to be from New Orleans and from the 17th Ward and Holly Grove? If you go look it up. Go look up Holly Grove. It's an impoverished part of New Orleans, just like the rest of New Orleans, where they got all black folks living under the poverty level. How you going to live in poverty? And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I got something I want to play by Lil Wayne to prove that I know he was just cooning. And the reason why I'm talking about an old subject, again, people, let me remind you. You might say, why are you talking about this? Happened a few years ago. Because Lil Wayne is only showing you the face of what? Hip-hop. And that face is still in hip-hop right now in the year 2018. Huh? You still got a whole bunch of gangsters, whole bunch of Negroes, educated Negroes, middle-class Negroes, who are all trying to act like what? Like they're gangsters and thugs. Huh? And the only thing that matters to them is what? Money. Only thing that matters to them is what? Green cotton. They don't care about nothing else. Why? Why? When you got a whole group of young people who don't know who they are, and you got a whole generation of young people who've been raised without what? Without culture. Without culture. So they don't know the importance of culture. They don't comprehend the importance of culture. To them, that word don't mean nothing to them because they was raised without it. Without what? Their indigenous culture. You got these Pan-African Negroes running around here trying to shoot this Pan-African philosophy into people. And you know what? You got children being raised every day without culture, without their real, true culture. You Pan-African Negroes, if you truly believe that some of your people are over here, take them Negroes back to their homeland. If you Pan-African Negroes truly believe that you're African, then get your ass back over there to where you live at, where you belong at, in your homeland. You don't belong over here. Go help your people over there. They need your help. And you got a whole lot of black folks, so-called black people or black Americans who left America and have went over there and who have lived, and they're not comfortable, they're not totally happy. Number one, the African people don't consider them African because they're not. But to validate my point that Lil Wayne, and you got to remember, he's one of the superstars of hip hop. He's a legend in hip hop. He's been doing music for over 25 years now. So he's a veteran, a seasoned veteran in the music industry. So you got a lot of brothers looking up to him who are coming up in the industry, are trying to do what are trying to establish themselves or do what he's already done. So regardless if he wants to be a mentor or not, he is. He's a mentor to many young people who are not rappers, many young people who are rappers, many young people who are coming up in the industry, and many young people who are already in the industry. And he's a bad example, in my opinion. He's a terrible example of a figure, of a hip-hop figure. He's uneducated. And in my opinion, he's historically illiterate, and he don't give a damn. He sold out the green cotton. He's a house nigga. So, but let me prove a point. See, a house nigga know who a house nigga is. House nigga, it ain't like a house nigga don't know he a house nigga. He just in denial of it. And a house nigga knows the truth. There's a lot of house niggas who know the truth and don't care. That's what make them a house nigga. They don't give a damn about truth or their culture or their true identity. So let me play this last video cut because my show is supposed to be ending, from 3 to 4, but I'm gonna extend it a little bit more because I want to play this song by Lil Wayne. Okay, now you heard that interview where he said he's not connected to anything that don't have nothing to do with him. You heard him in that interview talk about the only thing he connected to is his red rag. You heard him tell that lady who was interviewing him, if you're connected to something that ain't got nothing to do with you, you a fool. You heard him. That was some house nigga shit that came out of Lil Wayne's mouth. But if he's so disconnected, then you have to explain to me this song I'm finna play by him that he wrote. This song that he did called Georgia Bush, that I believe he did in 2015, okay? And this was in response to the catastrophe that happened, the natural disaster that happened in New Orleans, the Katrina thing that happened in New Orleans. And this is his response to it. And so I'm going to play this right quick, and we shall return, folks.
This song right here is dedicated to the President of the United States of America. Yeah, y'all might know him as George Bush. But where I'm from, Lost City of New Orleans, we call him this.
Georgia.
That's right.
Georgia.
Bush.
Georgia.
You know who you are.
Georgia.
Let's go.
Georgia.
Bush.
Georgia.
Bush.
Georgia.
That's what we call you.
Gangsta Brazil,
this song is dedicated to the one with the suit, thick white skin and his eyes bright blue. So-called beef with you know who. Fuck it, he just let him kill all our troops. Look at all the bullshit we been through. Had a nigga sitting on top of their roofs. Hurricane Katrina, we should've called it Hurricane Bush. Then they telling y'all lies on the news. The white people smiling like everything cool. But I know people that died in that pool. I know people that died in them schools. Now what is the survivor to do? Got no trailer, you gotta move. Now it's on to Texas, into Georgia. They tell you what they want, show you what they want you to see, but they don't let you know what's really going on. Make it look like a lot of stealing going on. Boy, them cops is killers in my home. Nigga shot dead in the middle of the street. I ain't no thief, I'm just trying to eat. Man, fuck the police and President Georgia Bush. So what happened to the levees? Why wasn't they steady? Why wasn't they able to control this? I know some folk that live by the levee that keep on telling me they heard explosions. Same shit happened back in Hurricane Bets in 1965. I ain't too young to know this. That was President Johnson, but not it's Georgia Bush. We from a town where everybody drowned in, everybody died, but baby, I'm still praying with you. Everybody cried, but ain't nobody tried. There's no doubt on my mind, it was Georgia Bush. We from a town where everybody drowned in, everybody died, but baby, I'm still praying with you. Everybody crying, but ain't nobody trying. There's no doubt on my mind, it was Bush. I was born in a boot at the bottom of the map. New Orleans, baby, not a White House. Satan trying to wash us away like we not on a map. Wait, have you heard the latest? They saying that you gotta have paper if you're trying to come back. Niggas thinking it's a rap. See, we can't hustle and they trap. We ain't from Nah, it's them dead bodies, them lost houses. The mayor say don't worry about it, and the children have been scorned. No one's here to care about them. And that shout to all the rappers that helped out. Yeah, we like to thank all of y'all for President when you see Confederate flag, you know what it is. A white cracker motherfucker that probably voted for him. And no, he ain't gonna drop no dollars, but he do drop bombs. R.I.P. Tigers, he died in the storm. Fuck President Bush. See us in your city, man, give us a pound. Cause if a nigga still moving, then he holding it down. I had 2 jacks, but lost both them bit. Cheers, I'm from N.O., the N.O. Yeah. We from a town where everybody drowned in,
everybody die, but baby, I'm still praying with you. Everybody cry, but ain't nobody tried. There's no doubt on my mind, it was Bush. We from a town where everybody drowned in, everybody died, but baby, I'm still praying with you. Everybody crying, but ain't nobody trying. There's no doubt on my mind, it was Bush.
Listen.
You heard it right there. That was Lil Wayne. That was a song by him that he wrote, I believe, I believe it was 2015 when he wrote that. I'm not sure. I can't remember the year he wrote that. But you can go find that song. It's called Georgia Bush. And if you listen to what he was saying, if you listen to the lyrics, you heard him giving you the rundown of what happened in New Orleans in Katrina. You hear him mention about the fact that, somebody said they heard explosions when the levees broke, and he mentions about how they turned their back and how there were people, pools of people, dead people, and people he known who's passed away. And I want you to know, he's, like I say, Lil Wayne has done a lot in New Orleans, and I believe that man loves New Orleans. I believe New Orleans is in Lil Wayne's blood. It's in his blood. It's in his DNA. He is New Orleans. And that's why he's done so much, and that's why he did this rap right here in response. And he's called because he blamed those people who died in New Orleans. This is what I get from the song, that he blamed George Bush. You feel me? Listen to that song. You can go. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. You feel me? Which is called Georgia Bush by Lil Wayne, and that's why I know he was cooning. That's why I know he was cooning. Go listen to that song. He calls the cops cop killers. Who was talking about how they shooting brothers and stuff in the streets. How you gonna say you can't connect to nothing that ain't got nothing to do with you? Them people in New Orleans, not everybody in New Orleans was his family. The whole state of New Orleans was not his family. But he had a connection to those people in New Orleans, even though they're not his family, because he's from that town. And New Orleans sits right in Louisiana. You hear him say he's at the foot of he's the foot of the boot. That's what they call it, another name for the state of Louisiana. They call it the boot because it looks like it's shaped like a boot. But I would encourage my people, before I get off the air, go check out the South Carolina Black Code, the Negro Code Act of 1740 of South Carolina. The U.S. adopted that ideology. The Negro Act Code of 1740, which was written by South Carolina state legislators of that period in time. Go read that, because at the end of that, it tells you that they made all those slaves that they so-called emancipated, that they made them Negroes, and the term Negro is connected and deemed African. This is the reason why they continue with this agenda, people. This is the reason why they continue. And this is the reason why they want to make us all African Americans. This is the reason why they want to make indigenous Aborigines African Americans. It's a land grab, people. It's a land grab. It's a continual land grab and mind game and political game that these devils are playing. You feel me? Go check out. You can Google it. You can pull it up yourself. The South Carolina Slave Code of 1740, titled the Negro Act. Go check it out, and you'll see it yourself. And the U.S. adopted that philosophy, adopted that ideology, and that's why you see it in the 1870 Naturalization Act, sitting there, written right in there, Go read that. Go check that out. The 1870 Naturalization Act. Go read it. They trying to make us who they know. They know we not no Africans. They make us Africans. Now we immigrants in our own country. They make us legally. That's paper genocide. That's the continuation, which they still doing today. They continuing the agenda of paper genocide to legally make us into something and into a people that we aren't. I'm going to end it on that note, people. I got to go. And I know I didn't say this in the beginning of the show. It's an hour later. You can always join me. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a bit of your conscious time. You can chime in at 857-232-0155. Again, that is area code 857-232-0155. And you can chime in. Won't cost you a dime. It's on me. It's on me. It's just a bit of your conscious time. And to all my Pan-African brothers and sisters out there, please join me in a conscious debate. Not no argument, not no childish crap, not no name calling, none of that. Just an intelligent, respectful discussion. Your people on the facts, on the truth, on the issues. You feel me? And so this is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black. I gotta go. My time is out. But I will definitely be back next Indigenous Sunday to drop nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Black Village. And as always, people, and as I always say, may the great mother bring us together under the wings of her love, her peace, and her truth. And as I always say, I love chicken. So love, peace, and chicken grease. I gotta go. So catch me next week, next delicious Indigenous Sunday. I probably most likely will continue this subject matter because I got another house Negro I want to talk about. Yeah, I want to talk about Jay-Z. He's my next one on my list. So I want to talk about house Negro Jay-Z, who tries to make it appear like he cares, who tries to make it appear that he is an activist. That nigga ain't no activist. He's a house nigga. He's a house nigga. He's one of those house nigga who's been embraced by the bourgeois motherfuckers, the boule motherfuckers who've embraced him and brought him in, the Prince Halls who embraced his ass, and so now he think he one of the boys, and he think he can give a little game to the streets. Nigga, you can't give nothing to the streets because you ain't gave nothing back to the streets, nigga. You ain't did nothing, nigga. All you did was get invited into the white man's club where you can eat the crumbs off his table. That's it. Raw and uncut just like that. And I'm going to get at Jay-Z's punk ass. And I'm going to drop the raw and uncut about his ass too. You feel me? Because like I said, what all these Negroes are doing, okay? And I say I give it up to T.I., but T.I. got to embrace his culture too. Because he's doing the same thing. Even though the brother is, he a good brother, and T.I. be dropping the raw and uncut. He don't bite his tongue. He's a man, but he doesn't understand or comprehend right now, and maybe he will. That's what I'm hoping that he does. Open his eyes to the importance of what really needs to happen in the so-called black community. It's time to rise up. It's time to raise up and rise up, but before you can raise up and rise up, you got to first have your mind and your intellect together. You got to know who you are, what you are, and where you're going. You feel me? And see, right now, our people are like still in a fog. You feel me? And so T.I. got to wake up and realize who he is. He's an indigenous Aborigine. He knows he ain't no African. That's why T.I. don't call himself no African American. He knows that. David Banner need to realize, nigga, that nigga from Mississippi. His whole family from Mississippi. Just like Lil Wayne. His roots is in New Orleans. His mama, his grandmama, his great-grandmama, they from New Orleans. Go check it out. Same thing with David Banner. His roots are all deep off in Mississippi. Ain't no African in that nigga. If he got some African in him, he need to vocalize that. He needs to say, I got a great uncle, and his name is Takunda, and he's from whatever. He can't do that, though, because he ain't no fucking African. David Banner, you ain't no African, nigga, even though I know that's your stage name. You feel me? So, on that note, I got to go, and I'll be back, definitely indigenously back to drop nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Black Village. Until then, folks, peace. And as I always say, I love chicken, so love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out of here.
Power, black power, white powder, white powder, black power, black power, white powder, white powder, black power, black power, white powder, white powder. I've been whipping in this for some hours, for some hours. One time for the dope man, just last when I bought every kid coat, man. 2 times for the dope man, let your mama bun when your ass had coat, man. Everything giving people get a turkey cause the government looking at them like they ain't worth Politicians say the niggas out of prison while they acting like their reputation clean as the church. Woo! We celebrate Pablo and Chapo. We don't really give a fuck about a cop though. I'm a mover and a shaker, I'm a real money maker, and it's known I used to sell cocaine. I'm a player, had a player, know the mayor, and the mayor know I know some things. When my cousin called a KC, the mayor was a counselor in college, they whipped them things. I ain't never had a plug named Julio, but I'ma tell you right now, it's who you know. I ain't never took a flight down to Mexico, but it took me 3 weeks to buy a sitcom, and a sitcom, and a sitcom. Fat nigga went legit and around rich folk. Did what I had to do to get paid. Escape the game like a runaway slave.